What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about season 1, episode 7 of The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. There's a lot to unpack in this particular episode because they actually tried to send the kids off to college. They tried to create this kind of alternate universe that showcases the kids in college, and it's a pretty interesting and funny thing to witness. So, of course, before we jump into the episode, guys, all I'm going to ask you is for two things. Very simple. One, like the video, help me spread it out to the YouTube algorithm. And number two, if you could bless me with a long view duration on this video, that would sincerely help me out and go a long way in fighting the YouTube algorithm. With that being said, let's get into episode 7, season 1, for the Proud Family. So the episode starts off pretty kind-hearted. It's nothing too crazy. They do showcase a version of a famous Broadway play, which I'm assuming this is mimicking Hamilton. I'm almost positive that's the case because even the set looks very similar, if almost identical to Hamilton, but they obviously named it something different. But yes, I'm assuming that this is going to be mimicking Hamilton. I'll show you a little bit of a clip so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Check it out.
My wealthy family son, whose siblings died young and turned my daddy to madness. Then he spent what he had before I even begun to be.
So Penny and her boyfriend are on a date together, and they got these tickets to see this show from their father. They think that Penny's father is not going to bother them, and he actually ends up showing up in the theater and embarrasses them. Check it out. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, pick up your phone. I'm calling you, girl. Hey!
Is that your dad? Are we getting punked?
More like scared straight.
So she thought she was going to have alone time with her boyfriend. Of course, that was just too good to be true. Her father ends up finding them, sits down in between them, and says that the tickets cost a lot of money, and there's no way he was going to let them be by themselves. She's questioning how the hell he got popcorn in the middle of this entire Broadway play, and he says that he found a way. And then his phone ends up ringing, and that ends up interrupting the show, at which they actually call him out for it. Check it out.
Oh my goodness gracious, are we interrupting?
Turn off your phone.
You want to get that, brother?
Oh, is that me?
So again, they're trying to mimic the whole Hamilton show. I actually saw Hamilton Broadway, and it's actually very good. It's a little bit definitely more on the hip hop side of things than I even realized or even expected going into it, but I thought it was very good. So this is very definitely a mimic of that. Oscar did end up making a joke about why are 3 black men wearing wigs, that there was no black founding fathers, which I was surprised that they even put that in there because I didn't think that was something that would go into this show, but apparently it did. Oscar ends up getting kicked out, finds a way back. Penny and her boyfriend thought that they were going to be alone, and Oscar ends up joining the show out of a joke. Check it out.
Didn't I tell you not to come back here? Don't let this periwig fool you. I will mop the floor with
Oh,
you.
I think about that new girl. You might be woke, but I ain't no joke, bloke. Whoa, wait a minute.
So Oscar, again, it's kind of like on the nose where he says he may be woke, but he's no joke. The fact that they even include this stuff in the show is just funny and ironic, and it shows that they definitely know what they're doing with some of the messaging that's in this TV show. Maybe not this particular episode, but just throughout the season as a whole, they definitely know what they're doing. They know exactly what they are trying to say and do. So Oscar ends up getting launched out of a cannon, and then everybody ends up laughing, and then the intro rolls from there. And then we end up seeing Trudy and Sugar Mama talking, where Oscar ends up coming home after Penny burst through the door and ends up running upstairs crying, with Sugar Mama and Trudy are trying to figure out what happened. Check it out.
Got my baby upstairs crying.
Oh, come on, stop. You know that girl. She just sensitive. I'm gonna say 2 words to you, Kareem. Run, sir!
So obviously he ends up calling Penny sensitive, and Trudy does not like that and ends up giving Oscar the threatening eyes, and they both run away and try not to deal with it. Now Penny's upstairs talking to her friends on what looks like Skype or something along those lines, or FaceTime. And as she's talking to her friend, she's just miserable. She wishes she no longer was a kid anymore, and that she wasn't living there, and she wishes she can be an adult and just go off somewhere like to college. And then as she says that, the kids start disappearing from the chat one by one because their parental locks start coming up, and she realizes that, oh, she's also got a parental lock as well, and her dad locks her out of the screen and says that she needs to go to bed. Before she does that, she ends up looking online and trying to find Al Roker, who I believe was in the last Proud Family, if I'm not mistaken. Al Roker is kind of like an entity in this TV show. He definitely represents the devil, ironically. Again, I don't know why they are showcasing a character that mimics the devil in this particular TV show, but I do find that very interesting. And you'll see why he obviously mimics the devil later on, and I'm not just making that up. Like, that's literally what he symbolizes, kind of like selling your soul to the devil sort of a thing. So she ends up clicking the link that says Al Roker Special, and it says, are you tired of your parents going on dates? Going on your dates, blocking your phone, embarrassing you in front of millions of people. Obviously, this is everything that she has experienced just recently before finding that link. So she clicks the link, and when she clicks the link, Al Roker ends up showing on her screen. And of course, if you guys are not aware of who Al Roker is, he is a famous weathercastman. And I'll show you a clip so you can get an idea. Check it out.
Helped me out. When?
Oh, come on, you remember? That BB and Cece thing.
Man, I wish you guys were old enough to take care of yourself.
So this is a replay from the original Proud Family, and yes, so it looks like Roker was actually in the original Proud Family. I didn't actually remember, but I was pretty sure that he was, and that shows a clip that when he wished that they were older, and that he granted them their wish. Yes, he was in the original Proud Family. Now, fast forward, he says that he can grant her the wish of being an adult for at least 1 week, and then she has 1 week to change her mind. If she doesn't change her mind after the fact, that it will be permanent. And she says, of course, she wants it to happen. And then Al Roker ends up making her sign her life away, essentially. And this is, again, symbolism for selling your soul to the devil. And you'll see exactly what I'm saying as we go further into the episode. It's not just because of that. So then when that happens, you see Al Roker get very happy that she signed it off. And then check what happens. Look.
Awesome and snippety. Have fun, Penny Proud.
So as you can see, Penny Proud got her wish and she ends up going to college. Now, it's not just her. She ends up wishing for her friends to also be adults in college, and she ends up transporting to a college campus where she sees Michael, and Michael's doing what Michael would definitely do in college, which is joining a sorority and trying to do some sort of step dance or whatever the case may be. I don't even know what they call it at this point. Now, the funny thing is, the girl over here on the left side, she has some sort of rainbow style flag shirt on her. And then, of course, Michael is himself gay. So you have a bunch of activism that it's going to showcase on this. And it's pretty funny because I would not be surprised that they would be activists when they get into college, almost every single one of them. Now, I don't know if Michael himself is an activist. I just think that he's one of those just outwardly, people on campus that are all for the sorority, and they live and breathe the sorority. Probably that. Dejanay ends up being the ringleader for the sorority, ends up showing herself afterwards, looking real ratchet. Talking down to Michael, and Michael's obviously not trying to upset her because she is in charge of that sorority. And then the funny thing is, she ends up seeing her other friends like La Cienega and whatnot, and check this out.
La Cienega? What took you so long? We're in college.
Zoe?
Also, everybody's voices are obviously adults now, so it's not the child voice that they had before. So they took the extra step to give them adult voices, which was a nice little attention to detail. Zoe obviously has grown up tremendously. Maya is a hardcore activist, which is hilarious because she would be the one to be an activist. She got the hippie earrings. She's all about BLM in this one. It's pretty funny. Check it out.
Not subjugation. Come on. Oh, I love her passion. Don't you, Penny?
So KG obviously is there as well, and even his drone is bigger too. He kind of looks like a character out of a Watch Dogs Legion, but it is what it is. So Maya, of course, is showing her activism, and that's what she lives and breathes by. And it's not just her either. You're gonna see a lot of that activism style stuff in college over the week that she's an adult. Dejanay ends up saying that those two live together and that it's a co-ed dorm, and that Penny's boyfriend also lives with them in the same dorm. So they're very excited because she gets to be with him all the time, doesn't have to worry about being separated, doesn't have to worry about talking or convincing her parents or anything like that. She's completely free. So they end up dancing and celebrating it. And then when they go to class,
To your left.
Penny is super excited to be learning about stuff, and Maya is just not in it. You have a Nutty Professor style character who says that they will fail 2/3 of the people in the classroom no matter what. Maya is not interested in learning. She's all about reading a James Baldwin book, and just, again, Maya is the prototypical activist character, and she's always going to be that. Dejanay ends up leaving, saying that she's going to sell her books because there's no point in her trying to learn, so she's going to fail anyway. Maya ends up saying the same thing, and then Penny ends up having to leave. So when Penny ends up going back to the dorm room, she's trying to study because she's taking it very seriously, and her boyfriend ends up taking her onto the dance floor outside, of which she has a good time. And then they all end up getting together and they eat food, and then they make this little joke about fried chicken and black people, which is pretty crazy. Watch this.
What makes you think I want to eat a chicken sandwich?
Dang, these chemicals are fire!
No wonder the conspiracy is working.
So, okay, Maya, again, talks about conspiracies and whatnot, and she's also doing her activism. Every time you see Maya, it's almost always her doing some form of activism outside of the university. And this one has to do with chicken is a lie, chicken is chemically induced, all that stuff. Wake up and smell the chemicals. Chicken is bad. So she's definitely trying to shill for some sort of like vegan lifestyle, essentially. Even though I may not say this here, that's what they're really trying to push for. And then we fast forward. Penny ends up buying a brand new car with some student discount program. Picks up her boyfriend from the salon. We see Michael actually ended up playing on the college team for basketball as well, which doesn't surprise me because he played when he was younger. They're going through pictures of Penny and her boyfriend. Zoe is some sort of like artist, and she's actually not bad at it. Check it out. So Zoe, ironically, has the biggest glow up, I would say, out of every single character that ended up going to college, which is pretty funny because they sideline her so much in the regular TV show as a kid. She really has no prevalence other than to be that one single white friend who experiences white guilt apparently in the second season. But we're not close to that yet, but we will get there. So Penny and Dejanay end up having this little conversation. Check it out.
Dejanay, I know you're not studying.
No, girl, I dropped all of my classes.
Oh, I'm sleeping. Bye, girl.
So her boyfriend ends up wanting to take things a little more seriously in terms of school and whatnot, and she's trying to live her life, so to speak, and is starting to make her realize that people are just not interested in doing what she necessarily wanted to do. She's unable to focus at school because all her friends have pretty much abandoned her. She's had no sleep. She's been partying all the time, and she's incapable of balancing her responsibilities and overall her life as a whole. So she tries to go pick up her boyfriend, and he's just not having it. Check it out.
Partying all night, sleeping through class, getting Fs. Hey, look, I'm sorry, but I'm late for orchestra rehearsal.
Fine, be that way.
So she tries to pretend like nothing matters and that even though her boyfriend doesn't want anything to do with it, it doesn't faze her. But obviously it does. She's failing all her classes. Dejanay is like, she's done. She doesn't want to do this whole college thing anymore. She's going back to being a kid. Because you got to remember, all these kids have the same option to go back, just like Penny did within a week. Every single one of them wants to leave. Even La Cienega, they're all packing up to go leave. Maya, Zoe, Michael, everybody's leaving. But Penny does not want to leave. Penny wants to stay, but even her boyfriend ends up leaving. So she gets completely abandoned, and they all go back to being a kid. And then the countdown ends up going to 0, and Penny realizes that her week is up, and she can't actually go back to being a kid anymore. She reads the contract that Roker gave her, and she realizes that it's pretty bad. You know, like she's basically signed her life away, and she's also failing college miserably. So she tries to go to admissions, and when she goes to admissions, this happens. Check it out.
You gonna fix this for me or what, blockhead?
Penny, you've been in the gym. I can't touch this. You gotta talk to the big guy.
Who's this big guy?
So the big guy at the university, obviously, I mean, anybody can see this coming, is going to be Al Roker. He ends up being the one in charge of the university, and he tells her that, listen, he's given her every opportunity to do exactly what she's wanted to do, and this is what she said she wanted. And just because she's failing right now, and just because she can't handle being an adult, doesn't mean she gets to go back to being a kid simply because she couldn't handle it. Now, that is a great segment, in my opinion, and it's a great lesson to learn that you should cherish, being a kid for as long as you possibly can, because obviously being an adult is not very easy, and anybody who is an adult will tell you that. Everybody's got their own shit to deal with. But she ends up saying that she wants to go back no matter what. And he says the only way she's going to go back is if she pays her debts off. And again, remember the whole devil kind of like comparison thing? He is very much so meant to be like the devil in this particular TV show. He has all that symbolism. He sounds like it too. When he gets really serious, he gets that deep voice and everything. So he's meant to showcase that, either the devil or just an evil character overall. So check it out.
And what if I don't?
Well, then you'll be here for all eternity.
Yeah, that's definitely That's definitely the devil without a doubt. Like he's meant to. I don't care what anybody says. He's definitely meant to symbolize the devil. So obviously she's extremely tired. She cannot stay awake in class. She's failing miserably to do so. She tries to sell the stuff that Al Roker has told her to try to sell, and she just can't do it. She's failing horribly. And then her dad ends up showing up because her dad actually signed the same contract as she did. Check it out.
Oh, and if you call me baby girl one more time, I promise you.
You scared of clowns? You got a birthmark on your left butt cheek, and you're mad at me for going on that date with you and that little boy.
Daddy? Daddy! I'm so glad.
So obviously, super emotional scene between Penny and her father because she realizes that her father goes through a lot and that she's incapable of being able to get anywhere close to being able to handle it like he can and like her mother can. He looks at the bill from Penny and it is very, very long. She owes Al Roker a lot of money. He says no problem, he's going to get it back. And Al Roker says that if Oscar makes this shot, they can go back, and he's going to be defended by a bunch of mini little Al Rokers, which they all look pretty scary. It's kind of weird. And then we get a whole bunch of more flames and whatnot because again, he's supposed to symbolize the leader of the underworld kind of a thing. That's what I'm getting from this. Obviously, Oscar makes a shot, although at first it looks like he was not going to, and then this happens. Check it out.
We're number one.
So he makes a shot, and Al Roker unfortunately has to let them go, and he does do so, and she returns as a kid in their house, and they have a little bit of a conversation about being an adult, and that's basically how the TV show ends. So overall, this particular episode was okay, right? It wasn't that big of a deal. There was some messaging in here, of course. There was a lot of activism at the university, but let's be real, like at colleges, there's activism all the time. That's how all these kids end up getting indoctrinated when they go into college, and then when they have to become an adult and they're forced to do their own thing, you only have some that make it and most that don't. That's just the truth of it. Most people who come out of college don't make it, and some of them do make it, and the ones that do make it usually are the ones that don't vote a certain way. I'm just saying. But no, like overall, that's just a joke. Overall, like college is definitely an indoctrination camp. We know that. School as a whole is an indoctrination camp, and you have to kind of come out of it, and hopefully you can figure out your own way and figure out how life really works. And once you realize how life really works in the real world, then you kind of go from there, and some people make it and most people don't. So overall, this particular episode for me gets a solid, I would say about 6 out of 10. I think 6 out of 10 is a fair score for this particular episode. They do have some messaging which does drop the points a bit. They do have some good messaging, like overall the lesson that Al Roker is trying to teach Penny, I think is a good message. And the fact that Oscar will do anything to save his daughter, I think is also a good message to showcase. So there is some good stuff, there is some bad stuff, so it gets slightly above average for me, and I think it was an okay episode at best. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.